Leander and I will also be muted, of course, during the session. Okay, we are live.
Okay, so okay. Yeah, so we can start. Good afternoon, and welcome to this session on European research and innovation founding opportunities. My name is Benjamin. Sorry, it was a technical problem. Sorry, yeah, my name is Benjamin. I work at the Brussels Agency for Business Support, and I work in the EU team. So we support SMEs through EU programs such as Enterprise Europe Network, which is my focus, Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs, and National Contact Point that we will talk about today. So today we'll talk in details about Horizon Europe and the funding opportunities that it represents. So Horizon Europe is a framework program with 95 billion euros of funding until 27 and start this year. This is a massive investment. It's very interesting for SMEs, but sometimes it's a bit complex and difficult for companies to grasp all the opportunities. Fortunately, we have some people who are here to help you. Those people are the national contact points. And we are lucky today. We have 3 national contact points from Brussels. So they will do 3 presentations. The first one will be done by Ji-Yeon Kim, the NCP Brussels coordinator. She will give an overview of Horizon Europe and the role of NCPs. Then we will have a focus on AI-related calls by Marion Perrin, who is a specialist for NCP Digital Industry and Space. And then we'll have a short presentation by Frédéric Such. We'll talk about the EIC Accelerator and the tools which are specially designed for SMEs. Please note that this session will be recorded and we'll have some time at the end for question and answer. So please do not hesitate to put some questions on the chat. So we can start. Ji-Yeon, if you want to take the floor, it is yours.
Thank you, Benjamin. And I'm going to start in a minute. Okay, so first, yes, I'm very happy to take part to this very intense AI week with you and our NCP colleagues. So thank you to the organizers and also special thanks to Nathanael for making this happen. NCP Brussels is the national contact point for Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe in the Brussels capital region. So Horizon Europe is the EU Research and Innovation Program 21-27 for a green, healthy, digital and inclusive Europe. And here the code by Maria Gabriel, our Commissioner for Research and Innovation, is leading us to the general and specific objectives of the program. So Horizon Europe is expected to maximize its impact and to deliver on the Union's strategic priorities, the recovery, green and digital transitions, and the global challenges by 2030 that includes the Sustainable Development Goals and the Agenda 2030 and the Paris Agreement, so the commitments to them. So the program has 4 specific objectives: to address scientific excellence, to strengthen the impact of research and innovation, to foster all forms of innovation, and to strengthen the European research area and to foster the excellence-based participation from all member states. And to support these ambitious objectives, a solid structure and a large budget, 3 pillars as in Horizon 2020, and horizontal activity contributing to the general and specific objectives of the program. So as you said, Benjamin, 95.5 billion euros for the period 21-27. This is the largest budget ever for a research and innovation program. And as in Horizon 2020, the first pillar continues to drive scientific excellence with the ERC, the Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions, and the investment in world-class research infrastructures. The second pillar is designed to fund research and innovation that tackles societal challenges and to reinforce technological and industrial capacities. So you see there's here a new integration in clusters, 6 clusters that address the full spectrum of global challenges as defined by the Commission. The expectation here is to incentivize a systemic approach with cross-disciplinary, cross-sectoral, cross-policy, and international collaboration. This is to better seize the innovation potential, which is often at the intersection of disciplines and sectors. And the third pillar is designed to foster the Union's industrial competitiveness and its innovation performance. So it supports market-creating innovation via the EIC, the European Innovation Council. It also supports the development of the overall European innovation landscape with the EIE and the EIT, the European Innovation and Technology, the Institute for Innovation and Technology, sorry. And finally, the horizontal activity is aimed to enhance access to excellence for researchers across the Union and to foster participation and collaboration, promoting gender equality, open access and open science, research and innovation integrity and ethics. In general, it promotes a European research area where researchers, scientific knowledge and technology can circulate freely. So following Horizon 2020, Horizon Europe introduces novelties, the main ones being the EIC, the European Innovation Council, the missions, the new approach to partnership, also the strengthening of international cooperation, the reinforced openness, and a wider spectrum of measures to support the widening participation and spreading excellence. Also the stimulation of synergies with other EU programs to increase the research and innovation impact. And finally, simplification, simpler rules and procedures, clearer definitions, and a consistent use of terminology. We're looking forward to see that. So where do we stand now following the last political agreement of December? Last year, the Parliament and the Council have been proceeding towards the adoption of the legal acts. That means the Horizon Europe regulation, the rules for participation and dissemination, and the specific program. But already following the first political agreement of March-April 2019, the Commission began an ambitious and inclusive strategic planning towards the first strategic plan for the first 4 years of Horizon Europe, ensuring that research and innovation actions contribute to the EU priorities that includes the climate neutral and green Europe fit for the digital age where the economy works for the people. So the first strategic plan has just been released this week, and I would strongly encourage you to read it. It contains the key strategic orientations for research and innovation support and their targeted impact. Also the partnerships or the co-funded and co-programmed partnerships and missions are identified, as well as the areas of international cooperation, orientations on specific issues like social sciences and humanities, gender, and also the role of CATS, the key enabling technologies. The ERC work program was published at the end of last month, and the EIC one was just published yesterday or the day before yesterday. So we are now waiting for the first work programs, especially in the cluster 2, to be published and the first calls to be launched. It is expected by the beginning of May, so hope everything goes well until there, and there will be no further delays. So yes, Horizon Europe is mainly implemented through calls for proposals, since the aim is to establish a critical mass of projects throughout the Union and to encourage the participation of all member states through international cooperation. So the calls will be accessible through the Funding and Tender Opportunities portal as soon as fully approved. The portal gives access to all programs that are directly managed by the Commission and its executive agencies. Just bear in mind that the calls for proposals are strategically planned in a way that the emphasis is put on the impact to be achieved rather than the approach to be taken. So the approach the approach to take is not prescriptive. As in Horizon 2020, the proposals will be evaluated on their excellence, impacts, and the quality and efficiency of the implementation. So these are the three quality evaluation criteria. The work programs will all pursue the same logical structure of information. So from identifying destinations, the so-called destinations, to the different calls, to the various topics. So the conditions and the indicative budgets are summarized both at the level of the calls and topics. The topics detail the type of actions required, the scope and expected outcomes, and the technology readiness level when relevant. So at the start and at the end of the project. So I'm getting to these conditions and type of actions in the next slides. Any legal entity as part of a consortium of minimum 3 independent entities from different member states or associated countries, with at least one of them being established in a member state. So that's the eligibility rule. However, only entities established in a member state or associated country are eligible for funding. So the entities established in a non-associated third country shall normally bear the cost of their participation. However, as you can see, there are two possible exceptions. So if the country is identified in the work program, or if the Commission considers that the participation of the entity concerned is essential for implementing the action. So I'm quickly showing you now the different ones, the different type of actions that may be funded with their definition and their associated funding rates. So the two main ones in the second pillar of the program are the RIA and IA, so Research and Innovation Actions and Innovation Actions. The coordination and support actions normally exclude research and innovation activities, while the innovation and market deployment actions are very specific to the EIC work program, namely the EIC Accelerator. And finally, the PCP and PPI actions that focus on beneficiaries that are contracting authorities or contracting entities. Okay, so yes, bear in mind that the financing, these financing restrictions concerning certain fields of research with regards to the ethical principles. So here are some points of attention regarding these specific fields of research. Okay, so let's get back to the program structure. And NCP services ahead of Horizon Europe. So NCP Brussels provides services to all potential applicants, participants, and beneficiaries of the program that are legally established in the Brussels capital region. So that means all categories of actors, the universities of Brussels, research centers, enterprises of all size, public and non-profit organizations. So we cover almost, as you can see, all parts of the program. In Belgium, there are 5 independent NCP systems. So as you may guess, it's due to the sharing of competencies between the federated entities of the country. For example, the first pillar excellent science is mainly covered by NCP Flanders and NCP FNRNs, since basic and frontier research belong to the competencies of the communities. Beyond Belgium, Horizon Europe is open to the world, we know. So there are NCP systems all over the world in all potential participating countries. We share a common reference as we follow the same guiding principles and minimum standards. We NCPs are recognized by the European Commission based on this common structure. So you see that we cover 12 of the functions, the NCP functions. Yes, so let's get back to what we can provide you with. So NCP Brussels is hosted by Hub Brussels, the Brussels Agency for Business Support, and it is financed by the Brussels region via Innoviris, the Agency for Research and Innovation. We provide information and advice to all potential applicants or beneficiaries, and we offer them services throughout the entire project lifecycle, from identifying opportunities to support during the proposal development stage, to support also the project execution when a proposal is finally selected. So that means a continuous support until project's exploitation that can lead to sometimes to further project ideas, and a new cycle can start again. So our services are free of charge, as well as all the services provided by Hub Brussels at large. NCP Brussels can then rely on multiple expertise internally, besides research and innovation, for example, on strategy, business, and finance. And we daily share our sectoral expertise with our regional clusters as software, EcoBuild, CircleMade, Hospitality, Screen, and LifeTech. So this collaboration has been very useful under Horizon 2020 and is still in place for Horizon Europe. NCP Brussels is also very much involved in transnational cooperation with national contact points worldwide. We actually belong to 8 transnational NCP thematic networks. And on top of that, we closely collaborate with the Enterprise Europe Network. And Benjamin, if I may, I would suggest that you take the floor to tell us a little bit more on Enterprise Europe Network.
Okay, yeah, with pleasure. Thank you. So I'm putting on the side my moderator just for a minute and to talk to you about the Enterprise Europe Network, which is very complementary to the national contact point. For instance, we have many collaborative projects in Horizon Europe, so you need to create consortia with foreign companies, foreign universities, or research centers. And so the Enterprise Europe Network can help you to find those partners. It can help you through a very large network, a worldwide network with 600 member organizations, mostly economic development agencies such as Brussels and Chamber of Commerce. And the idea is to use this network to the benefit of the SMEs in order to help them to be more competitive. So Gian, if you can put the next slide, please. So there are 3 main activities within Enterprise Europe Network. We can provide advisory support. We can use the network to give you some information, for instance, on other markets. We can give you some information on IPR, for instance. There is also a pillar on innovation support. It can be advice on access to finance. It can be advice on innovation management. And finally, the most important and the core business is the international partnerships. So we organize events, company missions, and we have a portal with lots of offers, requests, and R&D cooperation. So the idea is really to use the network in order to help the companies. And I just wanted to mention one event that we will organize in June, on the 17th of June, on Tech for Smart Cities. So it's very relevant with AI. And this event, there will be, of course, B2B meetings. There will be some webinars on different topics, including EU fundings, and there will be a pitching session with investors as well, European investors and European startups. So, Gian, I think you want
yeah, thank you. Thank you, Benjamin. So, as you can see, yes, sorry, we all belong to the same team. Sorry, yeah, so here we are. I guess you can see the screen now. Yeah, so this is our business unit, Internationalization and Innovation. So we are integrated into the International Department of Brussels. So here in blue, we are 8 NCPs and 6 of us also being advisors for Enterprise Europe Network. And Benjamin, so our kind moderator today, being exclusively dedicated to EEN as EU advisor for ICT. So stay tuned and get the news, register to our newsletter, participate to our next events and join us on the social media. Here are some useful links to Horizon Europe, so 2 official reference websites, and also different databases to get information on the past funded projects, so the general database CORDIS, and also database to find the former beneficiaries of the SME instrument and EIC pilots, plus also the beneficiaries from the FTI, the fast track to innovation. So these very specific, these instruments that were tailored for SMEs. So thank you for your attention, and I stay with you. So I give you back the floor, Benjamin.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gian, for this very interesting presentation. So I just had a question, Gian. I've heard recently that Belgian companies had a very high success on H2020 and Horizon, well, H2030. Do you have some stats about that?
Yes, because we are about to release our 6th statistic report for the Brussels participation to Horizon 2020. So there will be the last one next year, because now, yes, we could only collect the information until here July 2020. So there are a lot of results about to come. But so far, the small region of Brussels already captured more than 1 billion euros funding on the 78 available for the period 2014-2020. So yes, 1,161,000,000, in which 15% are from the private sector, and within the private sector, so 52% are SMEs. So SMEs are the second category of applicants in the Brussels region. The first one being these European federations and international organizations, but then followed by the SMEs. SMEs apply even more than the universities, for example. Say this is very a characteristic of Brussels. In general, in Horizon Europe, you have a success rate of 12%. In Belgium, it is higher than that. In Brussels, it's 21%. And yes, the SMEs, yes, it's a very competitive program. So, okay, it's one chance on 5 or one chance of 6. But the SMEs have, in average, a success rate of 17%. So it's good to know it's not impossible to participate and get funding from Europe, even if it's difficult. But here we are here, NCP Brussels is there. The NCPs in general are there to help the SMEs and other potential applicants.
Okay, well, thank you very much. It's very encouraging. And this is very good news for the region and the country. Okay, so now we can go a bit deeper into the topic of the week, and we will have a focus on AI-related opportunities, and it will be presented by our colleague Marion. So Marion, if you want to take the floor, it is yours.
Yeah, Thank you, Benjamin. Good afternoon, everyone. I just keep my camera switched off while presenting to avoid any connection issues because my connection is not that great. So I'm going to present you the funding opportunities for AY across Horizon Europe. And I'm going to focus on the first work program, which is covering the 2021 and 2022 period. But before starting, I'd like to insist on the fact that the work packages are not finalized yet, as Jeon just explained you. Therefore, all the information that I will give you today may still change between now and the formal adoption by the EC within the next month. And the calls for proposal are expected to be launched in May this year. And Sorry?
You can keep on.
Okay. And the expected deadline for applying will be September 2021. So I'm going to start with Cluster 4, Digital Industry and Space, which is where you will find the most opportunities for AI-related projects and activities in Horizon Europe. So the objective of this cluster is to advance key enabling digital and space technologies, underpinning the transformation for economy and society, support the digitization and transformation of European industry, and contribute to securing global industrial leadership and autonomy in terms of technologies and resources. There are 6 big destinations in this cluster, and the artificial intelligence related topics can be found under all of them. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of those 6 destinations, and for each of them, I'll show you one example of topic in order for you to get an idea of what kind of projects and activities are to be expected, and also what are the modalities of the calls. So the first destination is called Climate Neutral, Circular and Digitized Production, and proposals for topics under this destination should support the following impacts: global leadership in clean and climate neutral industrial value chains, circular economy, and climate neutral digital systems and infrastructures. So we have 4 expected topics for 2021 related to the artificial intelligence, as you can see on your screen. And I'm going to focus on the second one, the artificial intelligence for sustainable agile manufacturing, on the next slide. So this is an innovation action with a total indicative budget for this topic of 19 million. And the activities are expected to start at TRL 4 and achieve TRL 7 by the end of the project. So you can see the expected outcomes and scope of these topics, which are establishing European industry as a leader in sustainable manufacturing and process industries through the application of AI technologies, and also exploiting the potential of AI as a transformation tool to support circular production in the entire manufacturing and process industry. So the next destination is destination 2, and the topics under this destination will focus on the need to tackle missing segments in strategic areas and value chains to strengthen the EU's industrial base, as well as boost its competitiveness and strategic autonomy. So here we have 5 topics as well for 2021 related to AI, and I'm going to focus on the on sustainable and innovative mine of the future. So this is an innovation action as well, and the budget is 36 million. Activities are expected to achieve TRL 6-8 by the end of the project. And the expected outcomes and scope are accelerating the innovation in the mining sector necessary for the digital transformation, and also developing big data technologies and artificial intelligence methodologies addressing mining industry requirements to deliver on the climate ambition of the European Green Deal. So destination 3, world-leading data. World-leading data and computing technologies. We have only 1 topic for 2021, which is cognitive cloud, AI-enabled computing continuum from cloud to edge. I'm going to give you more details about this one. It's a very important one. The budget is 50 million for the whole topic. It's a research and innovation action this time, and the activities are expected to start at TRL 2 and achieve TRL 5 by the end of the project. And you can see the expected outcomes and scope on the screen. So it's to develop highly innovation cloud management layer, making the best application of artificial intelligence techniques and AY models with automatic adaptation to the computing resources in cloud and edge to optimize where data are being processed. So for destination 4, which is about sustaining first mover advantages in strategic areas, including AI, data, robotics, quantum computing, and graphene, and by investing early in emerging enabling technologies. And also reinforcing European industry leadership across the digital supply chain and strengthen European industrial and technology presence in all key parts of a greener digital supply chain. So here we have only 3 calls, but they are pretty good, big ones and important ones. I'm going to focus on the second one, pushing the limit of robotics cognition. Yeah, the budget is quite big. It's 45 million for the topic. It's a research and innovation action. The TRL to start are expected to be 2-3, and by the end of the project, the activities are expected to achieve TRL 4-5. So we have some expected outcomes and scope as well. So enabling robots to have more profound impacts than they currently have, empowering them with a deeper kind of AI, endowing them with a better perception and understanding of the world. And also developing technologies and systems that significantly enhance the cognitive ability of robots from the current state of the art to achieve greater levels of interaction and autonomy. So we still have 2 destinations to go, and the 5th destination is about having an open strategic autonomy in developing, deploying, and using global space-based infrastructures, services, applications, and data. So here we have 5 expected topics for this year, and I'll give you more details about the space weather one, which is an interesting one, I find. It's a research and innovation action with a quite small budget, 2 million. And it's for identified and matured concepts up to TRL 3-4. So it's about improving space weather event restitution and prediction capabilities using artificial intelligence and deep learning techniques, and also preparing Europe for a full exploitation of space weather data by a renewed effort of modeling and forecasting using currently available data. And the last destination of cluster 4 is destination 6. And the project funded under this destination should take a human-centered approach to technology developments aligned with European social and ethical values, as well as sustainability. And it's also about supporting the creation of sustainable, high-quality jobs by targeting skills mismatches, the need to empower workers, and ethical considerations relating to technological progress. So we have 7 topics for this call, for this call, and they are on the next slide. I give you maybe a minute to read them all. I'm going to focus on the tackling gender, race, and other biases in AI. Okay. So this one is a research and innovation action with a budget of 10 million. TRL 3-4 to start with, and then 5-6 by the end of the project. The expected outcomes and scope are to increase the availability and deployment of unbiased and bias-preventing AI solutions across a wide range of industrial and digital sector. Increase involvement of underrepresented persons in the design, development, training, and deployment of AI. So that's all for cluster 4. As you see, there are plenty of opportunities for AI projects in this cluster, but I'm now going to tell you more about the opportunities in the other clusters of the program, because artificial intelligence is represented in all those clusters as well. But I'm not going to go too much into details since we don't have enough time today for that, and also I'm NCP only for cluster 4, so I'm not the best place to tell you everything about the other clusters, but if you have more questions or want to know more about this other specific cluster, you just need to go to our website and find the relevant NCP for each cluster. So I'm going to start with cluster 3, Cybersecurity for Society, which is the cluster where you will find the most opportunities for AI after cluster 4. So it's about supporting the implementation of EU policy priorities relating to security, including cybersecurity and disaster risk reduction and resilience. And yeah, also just to let you know, I'm going to to give you an overview of all those clusters and with one example for each topic each time. But for cluster 4, cluster 3, I'm going to give you more details because there are 3 destinations out of 6 where you can find AY. So destination 1, 4, and 5. So in destination 1, better protect the EU and its citizens against crime and terrorism. We will have several topics. Among them, one is called terrorism and other forms of serious crime countered using travel intelligence. This will be an innovation action with a budget of 16 million. It's for European security practitioners benefit from better, modern and validated tools and training curricula on the use of travel intelligence to prevent, detect and investigate terrorism and other forms of serious crime. In destination 4, increased cybersecurity, we'll have one topic in 2021 called AY for cybersecurity reinforcement. It will be a research and innovation action with a budget of 11 million. It's about reinforcing cybersecurity using AY technological components and tools in line with relevant EU policy, legal and ethical requirements. So, and also about increasing knowledge about how an attacker might use AY technology in order to attack IT systems. In destination 5, a disaster resilient society for Europe, we'll have an expected topic called improved disaster risk pricing assessments. It will be an innovation action with a budget of 10 million. It will be about contributing to the public accessibility of fiscal data and information related to disaster risk and available risk transfer mechanisms such as insurance in an easily available and understandable way. So we are going to talk about cluster 1 now, which is a cluster dedicated to health. So this cluster is about providing support for research and innovation projects that can improve and protect the health and well-being of EU citizens through new knowledge, technology, and innovative solutions, which can help prevent, diagnose, monitor, treat, and cure diseases. One of the expected topics for 2021 will be clinical validation of artificial intelligence solutions for treatment and care. Cluster 2, culture, creativity, and inclusive society. It's about enhancing democratic governance and citizens' participation on the safeguarding and promotion of cultural heritage and to respond to and shape multifaceted social, economic, technological, and cultural transformations. One of the expected topics for this year will be artificial intelligence, big data, and democracy. Cluster 5, climate, energy, and mobility. So it will support the acceleration of the twin green and digital transitions and associated transformation of our economy, industry, and society, with a view to achieving climate neutrality in Europe by 2050. And one of the expected topics for 2021 will be development of digital solutions for existing hydropower operation and maintenance. And the last cluster, cluster 6, food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, and environment. So it's about reducing environmental degradation, halting and reversing the decline of biodiversity, and to better manage natural resources while serving the EU's climate objectives and ensuring food and water security. So one of the expected topics will be improved understanding, observation, and monitoring of water resources availability. So as I told you, if you need more information, if you have any specific questions about those clusters, just go to the website and contact our NCP for each cluster. So that's all for me. I hope it was clear and useful. In case you have more questions after the end of the session, I mean, you can send me an email. You have my email right here on the slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marion, for this very comprehensive presentation. I just have a quick question, because I see that we still have some time. Do you have an idea of the total budget available for AI in the cluster digitals, industry and space? Do you know
in
this?
The cluster 4, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, if we count only the AI data robotic topics, we have a total budget of about 320 million. but it doesn't include the AI-based approach topics, which are mainly under destination 6. For them, we don't have a consolidated number yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's going to be a lot.
Okay, that's a lot of money indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Just to remind the participants that we will have some time for questions and answer at the end of the session. So please do not hesitate to write in the chat. I see that there are already a couple of questions, and we'll answer them after Frédéric's presentation. So Frédéric will present us the EIC Accelerator and some tools dedicated to SMEs. Frédéric, if you're ready, you can take control of the screen.
Yes, thank you, Benjamin. Do you see my screen now?
Yeah, it's not in the full mode, so if you can...
Yes, it's coming up, I think.
Perfect, that's great.
Is that okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot. So I have basically 10 minutes to explain you a little bit what's behind this new concept of the European Innovation Council. Actually, it's very timely because you might know that the EIC has been launched, as explained by Gian yesterday. And then there's yesterday and today some events from the Commission to explain further what's the EIC and what can you expect from this new instrument in the newly established Horizon Europe. So just to explain the overall objective, what's the EIC, because it's very important to be in line with the objectives and hope to get some funding from the EIC. Just retain that it's made for make the most of the EU science, the research made by European researchers or from beyond willing to establish in the EU. And then the objective here is really to support and guide every innovator, whoever you are, from research, from companies, from industry, whatever, from the idea to the markets, and gain some competitiveness and bring the Europe at forefront of the technology landscape worldwide. So that's the main objective behind to really retain when addressing the calls from the EIC. That's why we have this set of actions. 3 of them are concentrating most of the 10 billion euro that are dedicated to the EIC until 2027. We concentrate on those 3 ones. The first one is the Pathfinder for the early stage research on breakthrough techs and research that come from every European innovator. It's up to 3 and 4 million. We'll come back to the main characteristics of it. It's a successor of the Future Emerging Technologies program, in fact, from the previous program. The second one is transition, a step further, for making the technology maturating to tech validation, early demonstration. There, it's a little bit limited to some situations. I will explain that later. And then we have the famous so-called Accelerator that some of you might know already, made for companies that are developing deep tech and disruptive innovation to bring it as fast as possible to the market. It's made with business acceleration services for beneficiaries, and it's in combination from time to time with some other support that we can explain also later. Let's move to the Pathfinder. In a nutshell, here's what it is. As I said, it's made for very, very disruptive technology. We even say visionary, life-changing. That's the official vocabulary from the Commission. For what? It's made for achieving the breakthrough science that you might develop and bring it to a proof of principle and validate the scientific basis of the research that you are conducting in an interdisciplinary approach. I'm really insisting on that one because this is really what's expected from the Commission. Bring those visionary solutions to be addressed in an interdisciplinary way. So on the contrary, what is not, it's not definitely not incremental innovation. For that, there are other programs here. It's really those disruptive research and technologies that are targeted you might know a little bit the path that you wish for your solution, not just applying to a program where you don't have visibility or vision for your solution. It's not monodisciplinary, as I said, and it's not a lonely project. You must show the collaboration nature of such a project. It's between 3 and 4 million euro that are distributed between TRL 1 and 5. TRL are those scales that from 0 idea to 9 commercialization, so we are quite early. You must deliver a proof of principle, and it's 100% of eligible cost because it's a research innovation. It's also based on some challenges besides the open call, because it's an open call regardless the topic that you're addressing, but there are also some challenges with a dedicated call. They are listed below. I don't have time to develop them, but of course you can come back to us for more details on that one. In a nutshell, here's the evaluation process. Most of the score is based on the excellence part, so you must be very convincing on, again, the scientific breakthrough you want to provoke, the innovation potential, the objectives, the interdisciplinarity, and the rest is made on impact and the quality efficiency of the implementation. It's more or less 17 pages, so it's not that long. And the time to grant is the classical one, 8 months, okay? Some common mistakes, we will publish the slides, so I won't go into too much into the details, but as I said, very pay attention to what vision do you want to bring forward to the commission. Is it high risk? Is it high potential? Is it interdisciplinary? Is it that noble? You must convince the evaluator on those main points, okay? Transition. This one is, as I said, limited to a certain number of situations. It's made for projects that's been already granted as Pathfinder projects or proof of concepts from the European Research Council, ERC. So only those 2 types of projects for the moment are the main projects eligible to apply to a transition, because there the objective is really to mature the technology, to bring it to the next level where most of the spending should be on validation activities, prototyping, user testing, validations, etc., etc. For that, you have 2.5 million for tech and demo. The TRL, expected TRL are from 4 to 5 and 6, as you can see, because we're still in the middle of the process. And the outcomes are mainly demonstrating technology and drafting and proposing a business plan to the entrepreneurial project that you might envision behind the technology. Again, here we are talking about the research innovation action, so 100% of the activities are funded. Again, here you have challenge-based topics, no time to go into the details, but just pay attention that if your AI solution corresponds to one of those challenges or can crack those challenges, you can have a look on there. There, as I said, some types of projects are eligible, and you should show whether you want to transition to tech, meaning that you want to go further on the tech, go to the market, or establish having an entrepreneurship project. Okay. Evaluation, all criteria are equal, 25 pages, and we have a time to grant of 17 weeks. Okay. Accelerator, the biggest amount is dedicated to this one, only dedicated to SMEs or SMEs to be, meaning that if you are a spin-off or an entrepreneur to be still a researcher and willing to establish an SME, you're still eligible to apply to the first stage of the evaluation. Very important. Why? Because there, what is expected is to bring to the market as fast as possible the high impact innovative product, service or business model to create new markets and disrupt the existing ones. So what matters is being high risk and high potential with a wish to scale up quickly. For that, you have 2.5 million grants that you can combine with an equity component because there's been a new funding scheme that's been set by the Commission, a new fund, EIC fund, where you can take up to 15 million of equity in addition to your grant. Okay, so these are the main types of support. You can go for grant only, grant first, investment only. Pay attention to the grant only, that if you go for this option, you should demonstrate that you are able to cover the commercialization part quickly. Eligibility, as I said, entrepreneurs, SMEs, single applicants, all technologies eligible, and for scaling up, okay? 2 steps, short application with an online questionnaire, 5 pages more or less, a 10-slide pitch to submit and a 3-minute video pitch. If you're selected after 4 weeks of evaluation, more or less, you should apply for a business plan and propose clear milestones. That's the full application stage. And for that, you have 2 cutoff dates in the year, the 9th of June and 6th of October for this year. Okay, evaluation criteria, all the same, all weighted the same. Short application, I talked about it. Multi-submissions are forbidden. You have two chances. One first time, if you're selected, it's okay, you go to the next stage. And you have 2 chances of submission. Then you have to wait 1 year if you fail twice. No time to explain more, but we can, of course, talk later about this, maybe in the Q&A time, okay? Here's the evaluation process. Again, I will go quickly, but keep in mind this 2-step process, and then you have the interview in case of full application successful, okay? We can go back to that in the Q&A session if you wish, but I talked about the main expectations from the EC, okay? Here's an overview of the main 3 funding schemes. Again, the slides will be distributed, so you will have them with the dates. And here's the timeline for this year. Retain the first date, 19th of May, June, October, September, and end of October as milestones for your submission pathway. That's all from my side. I think I kept the 10 minutes more or less. I give the floor back to you, Benjamin.
Thank you very much, Frédéric. It was perfect in terms of timing and of content as well. That was very interesting to hear about this very high level scheme. I had a question for you, Frédéric. Do you have an example of a company in Brussels or in Belgium that benefited from this kind of funding? And if it's AI related, it's even better.
Okay. Well, I guess you talk about the Accelerator specifically.
Yeah.
Not the Pathfinder. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
We had 3 projects from Brussels last year that's been selected by the EIC Accelerator program. One of them is from a health tech startup from Brussels, which is MoveUp, and they applied for implementing and testing and deploying an AI-based solution that could be of relevance to the COVID-19 crisis. And they've been selected in March in that context. And now they're one of the 36 beneficiaries in this specific COVID-19 call from March.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you. So we have a few questions from the chat. So I'll start with I'll start with one I can answer. The question is, will the slides become available? Yes, it will be available, maybe a bit later, but it will be available. We'll make sure that you can get it. And then for the other question, there is a question, I think it's for Marion. When are the deadlines for the AI-related calls?
Yeah, as I said at the beginning of the presentation, the deadlines are expected to be in September, early September 2021.
Okay, so the first calls.
Yeah, they are going to be launched in May, and then the deadlines for applying will be in September.
Okay, perfect. We have another question. Is there a difference in success rate between the different destinations?
But I guess it's a question for me.
Yeah, please.
Because due to your last question, okay, so actually it's not yet possible to tell that, because what I wanted to share was the success rate of Horizon 2020. So the success rate is calculated taking, you know, the number of applications submitted divided. It's reversed. The number of applications selected for funding divided by the number of applications submitted to the program. And that's how you reach 12% in average in Europe and 21% in Brussels. So here, the concept of destinations was not yet in application in Horizon 2020. You know, but of course there were differences between the pillars. For example, in Belgium, we see that the MSCA actions were pulling down the success rate of Belgium because it was only 15%, while for the societal challenges and the second pillar, which was industrial competitiveness, it was much higher. So, and it really depends. It really depends on the topics. You can never know how much participants will apply to a call, will answer a call for a proposal. Sometimes it has a very huge success, and sometimes, yes, there are differences. So here what Marion showed was the average budget made available per call and per topic. And so it gives an average of the number of projects that could be funded, given the indicative budget that is given by the Commission to implement an action, but you never know in advance. You know?
Okay.
That's the beauty of the statistics, actually. You can do the exercise afterwards.
Okay, thank you very much. We have another question for Frédéric. Fred, can you elaborate on the 2 changes to apply to the Accelerator program? Can you say a bit more?
It should take an hour if I would
quickly,
be comprehensive.
If you can do it in 1 minute, it would be better.
Basically, now the Commission set this new system where you have to submit once, then to the short application phase, and then having another chance in case the short application is rejected. The objective being to limitate the number of submissions, because at the pilot phase during the 2 last years, there's been a lot of applications submitted into the system. So first case, 2 short applications failing, you have to wait 1 year. If you pass the short application stage and you are invited to the full proposal, you fail, you're allowed to resubmit another full application. You don't have to restart from the beginning. Second situation. Another situation, you are failing at the jury stage and the jury says the proposal deserves a second chance to the jury phase. Another situation, you don't have to resubmit from the short or the full application stage, but at every occasion, the system should block beyond 2 submissions, depending on the situation, because there are many other situations. But to make it short, these are the main scenarios that you should face.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I think we are out of time now. So thanks a lot for all the brilliant presentations. It was very interesting. Just to wrap up, maybe some key takeaways from this session. So we've heard that the Horizon Europe total budget for the until 27 is 95 billion euros. So there are lots of opportunities. So the work programs will be published in May, and for the AI calls will start in September. You can count, of course, on the NCP support to identify opportunities, to develop your proposal, to submit the proposal, to execute the proposal, and then to exploit the project. So that's a lot of support throughout the time. We have seen that AI is at the core of the digital cluster, the cluster 4. There are lots of opportunities in different thematics, but AI is also AI-related topics can be found as well in many different clusters, pretty much in all the clusters, according to Marion. And then we had the presentation about the EIC Accelerator, where there are great opportunities of funding for high risk and high potential companies. And the funding can be, for the accelerator, for instance, it can be up to 2.5 million euros of grants and up to 15 million of equity. Okay, so I hope that was a good summary. But if there is one thing to remember is that if you have any question, you can contact your national contact point wherever you are in Europe. So thank you very much again. Thank you all the speakers. Thanks to AI for Belgium for inviting us, and thanks for the support of the VUB as well. Okay, so we leave the floor. The next session is on AI for Gov, so don't miss it. It's going to be very